The worst thing about isolation is it's quite boring because we haven't been set in work, so I don't really have anything to do. And my family are getting a bit on my nerves now.
I think the restrictions on exercise, so not being able to go to the gym or being able to meet with people to do exercise and working out, that's what I've missed most.
The worst thing about being in isolation is probably like not being able to see friends. Like obviously you have technology and stuff, but it's not quite the same as having like a face-to-face thing with people. You just kind of miss that. And also there's a weird kind of sense you get when you like hang up a group call that like, oh, now I'm alone again.
I'd say the hardest thing is not being able to play rugby because I enjoy playing rugby for school and clubs, so not being able to do that.
Feel a bit annoyed because I don't really want to have to stay at home, and all my exams have been cancelled and everything, so I sort of wish, just a bit annoyed that it's happened.
Hi guys, Naomi from Open Doors Youth here, and this week I just wanted to check in and see how you're doing and coping with isolation. Don't know about you, I've definitely had highs and lows. My low points have been I was in self-isolation for a couple of weeks because my housemate had developed a cough, and just that lack of freedom, not being able to leave my house even to do really simple things, not being able to see my friends. And I guess that's it, is that now, even though I'm out of the self-isolation part, I still can't see people. I still can't use my time as I would want to. And I find that really hard. One of the things that's actually been helping me to get through this is that I love receiving like fun posts from my friends. And so I've got like a little card that someone wrote me the other day. One of my friends sent me a card and put their face on it. But also just in their card, they wrote, to encourage me, they said, do me a favour, read 2 Corinthians 4. And I read 2 Corinthians 4, It's a bit of the Bible. And it talks about like whatever hardships you're going through, be assured that God is still working. And like for me, that has been I need that actually, because I found some of this time really hard. But God is always working in every situation. And I want to tell you about this guy called Wang Ming-Dao. And he's from China. And back in the 1950s, he was known in China for being someone who was speaking out about Jesus, which was a dangerous move because China was not open to Christianity. In fact, people who were Christians were often arrested, imprisoned, and sometimes even killed. And this guy, he's out there talking, and he gets arrested, and he's sentenced to 22 and a half years in prison. Or he can sign this piece of paper that says, I'm not a Christian, and I will stop talking about Jesus. And Wang Ming-Dao, he's thinking, well, actually, I don't want to go to prison for 22 and a half years. Okay, I'll sign the paper. And so he signs the paper, and the prison let him go free, takes a few steps outside, and realises, what have I done? Like, what am I going to do with my life if I'm not speaking about Jesus? And so he turns around, goes back into the prison, tells them to rip up the piece of paper, and then has to stay in prison for 22 and a half years. A number of those years are in solitary confinement, in a cell by yourself. Now this guy, if that was me, I would be full of despair. I don't know how I'd cope. But this guy, he's an evangelist. It means he loves to share about Jesus. And so he's looking for opportunities. How can I be sharing about Jesus? And he realises that in his cell, the sewer pipes are all connected to the different cells. And so he starts preaching down the toilet, knowing that his voice will carry through the pipes into the other cells. Day after day, he's preaching down the toilet, sharing about Jesus. And basically 96 people over 7 years become Christians because of him. He's an incredible guy. He says this thing of like, actually for 20 years, over the 20 years, the only person I had was Jesus. I didn't have a Bible, I didn't have a pen and paper, I didn't have an audience, I didn't have anyone else to talk to. I just had me and God. And that was enough. It was the best relationship I could have had. And I don't know about you, I find that incredibly inspiring, but sometimes it scares me because I think actually in this time of isolation, my first thing hasn't been, I should be telling people about Jesus. I want it to be, but that hasn't been my first thought. And like, it reminds me of a story of a lady called Rachel, who she is a Christian in the Middle East, and her and her husband were leading a house church, and she knew that it was a risky move, because to lead a house church in the Middle East is kind of your secret. It's not, it's dangerous. You could get arrested for it. And so she knew the risks. She knew that she could be monitored. But she kind of thought, but, I feel like God's just looking after us. He's protecting us, so we'll be okay. But one day, the police turn up at her house and they arrest her. And they send her to prison. And that means that, like, her husband, she's got a young daughter. She doesn't see them. And she's just, God, why could you let this happen? I don't know about you. I think I would struggle too if that was the case for me. And she just is like, I can't even pray. I don't even know what to pray. I'm so cross at God. I'm angry. How could he let this happen to me when I'm doing like what he was asked me to do? And so for a while she can't pray. And then she has a dream. And in the dream, she's reminded of this Bible verse that says he was in the world, even though he's in the world, and even though the world was created through him, the world did not recognise him. She wakes up and she's like, maybe I'm just not recognising that God is here. And from that day on, she just feels the presence of God go with her wherever she goes. And it's really interesting because she actually says that that time in prison made me a stronger Christian. It made me take my faith seriously. It deepened my passion for God and my prayer life. And she came out of it saying, like, I'm a stronger Christian now. Now, I don't know how long this isolation is going to go on for, but I know that I want to be a stronger Christian when I come out of it. And I'm hoping and praying that for you guys too. So today, like, why not be someone who encourages someone? It might be a friend of yours, but why not actually encourage a Christian who maybe is in prison or is in isolation longer term? You can find out some more information about that in this week's session. But God bless you guys, and we'll see you next week.